After the release of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 8, fans have been hounding around one question asked by Shikamaru Nara. How much does Boruto know? And this isn't the first time either. Ever since Boruto has arrived back in Konoha since 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 1, Boruto has shown an alarming amount of knowledge on all matters Otsutsuki. In this video, we will delve into the possible reasons as to why and where Boruto will be getting his information from. But before we start, I'm going to ask you to like the video and subscribe to my channel, as the vast majority of people who watch my videos are not subscribed, and I would appreciate if you would help change that. With that done and dusted, let's get into the mystery surrounding Boruto's sudden knowledge. As previously mentioned, Boruto's abundance of knowledge on events to come was very bewildering to viewers. As of Chapter 80 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, Boruto seemed just as sure of the future as the reader, so we're left pondering, where is Boruto getting all this new information? The easiest and a fairly probable answer is he has somehow pried information from Momoshiki. Momoshiki, as shown in the past, has the ability to use his Byakugan to see the future and would know of events to come, even though the information would be fairly fragmented. Momoshiki also has knowledge of all Shinjutsu, Otsutsuki's divine techniques, so it's safe to assume he'll have enough knowledge on the clan's workings and mechanism of the divine trees as well. The only problem is, Momoshiki lacks incentive to share such knowledge with Boruto. They haven't ever had a friendly relationship. In fact, as of Chapter 80, Momoshiki seemed more enraged with Boruto than ever before. So why would he share anything with his host? In the Omnipotence arc, it's mentioned that Boruto and Momoshiki's thoughts have begun to cross over, but as of 2 Blue Vortex, we haven't heard or seen of him at all. What really happened between Boruto and Momoshiki during the blank period is unknown as of now, or if anything happened at all, so I can't really come to any conclusions on this. Another idea is that Boruto has simply seen the events himself, with Momoshiki's Byakugan, instead of consulting Momoshiki. This would be something akin to the situation in Boruto Naruto Next Generation Chapter 75, where Boruto witnessed the events of the latter half of the Omnipotence incident firsthand, albeit fairly fragmented and disjointed. This could explain the knowledge Boruto displays in the timeskip chapters 2 and 8, but there's a reason why I think this theory is kind of unlikely. I think the theory Boruto has seen the future with Momoshiki's Byakugan is a little shaky, mainly because of the way information is presented with Momoshiki's Byakugan, being very scattered and inconclusive. When Boruto saw his future in Chapter 75, he was completely unsure of what he had seen, and probably didn't even know it was about him. He pretty much brushed it off from that moment onward. I mean, he didn't really seem to care much. The Boruto we see in the timeskip, however, seems to know exactly what is happening and what will happen, just as he said, provided certain events take place. For that reason, I can't really follow this theory that much. The final theory is a little bit far-fetched, but also my personal favorite. For this theory, I'm going to need you guys to just completely turn off your brains and turn on your theory glasses. This theory is exactly what the title of this video references. Is Boruto a time loop? This question has been brought up ever since the early days of Boruto, but it hasn't had any real substantial premise to be believed up until now. I think the first indicator that Boruto could be a time loop stems from one of the very first lines in Boruto Chapter 1, where Boruto mutters, "Was this the only possible outcome?" At face value, it sounds like a fairly basic line. I mean, was fighting the only way we could solve this? But let's put on our theory glasses. If you think about it, it makes it sound like Boruto has tried again and again to achieve an outcome that is frankly impossible. At the end of the day, Boruto vs. Kawaki is a quote-unquote canon event that must take place at some point in time. But this isn't our only piece of evidence, obviously. The nature of Boruto's more solemn personality in 2 Blue Vortex was always fairly questionable to me. A lot of people offered up explanations like, oh, he trained with Sasuke, or oh, well, he wouldn't be smiling at a situation, or he lost his master. But I don't believe training with Sasuke would change his personality so much, at least on the surface, because he's already done it before. And yes, while he wouldn't be smiling at his situation post-omnipotence, most people wouldn't, he already did smile and pretty much overcame the bleakness of his place in time back at Chapter 80. Even if you say he lost his master, regretfully, Boruto didn't seem extremely upset over the loss of Sasuke, especially considering the fact he couldn't have known he was still alive. To Boruto, he could have just been dead. But it's weird that he seemingly just frowns, takes his master's sword, and moves on. It's almost as if he's already grieved about this before, and knows he doesn't have time to waste. This is further supported by the knowledge Boruto drops in the earlier chapters of Two Blue Vortex that they had to act quickly before the Ten Tails gained sentience. How would Boruto know this takes place? If he had seen the future using Momoshiki's eye, past usage dictates that he would only likely see the outcome and not the transformation, meaning he would see the Shinju and see their destruction, but he wouldn't know how they were made. Knowing how the Shinju were created could only be something understood via experience. Boruto traveling through time and trying to stop and failing to stop the creation of the Shinju could be one of the reasons for his more tired personality. Another piece I think that goes along with this theory is the fate of Sarada in Two Blue Vortex. If you know me on Twitter, I've already talked about why I think Sarada could be seriously injured or die in at least one of the timelines and the reasons as to why. I'll probably link that thread in the description so you guys can see it. When Boruto returns to Konoha in Two Blue Vortex Chapter 1, he refuses to look at Sarada strangely, and most of us assume this is because he was reluctant to tell her about the truth concerning Sasuke's current situation. But I think it's something more. Why would he hesitate to tell her something that he pretty much tells her as soon as the fight's settled? It wouldn't be such like a big dramatic thing. It's almost as if he had to gather his mind to look at Sarada once again. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Hidari, Sasuke's Jubi clone, has something to do with the future of Sarada. It's also most likely why Boruto repeats his master's words to survive to her, even though he could have protected her from any danger in that moment, implying something was a threat to her, but not at that time. Maybe in the future? When Hidari comes into existence in Chapter 4, Boruto immediately drops his cool-headed nature and starts to attack rather uncharacteristically, something noted by Kashin Koji's frog. While this could be interpreted as simply Boruto being alarmed at seeing something so similar to his master/sensei, I think it would be strange that Boruto would attack his master's clone so suddenly without any prior knowledge on what it was and how harming it could affect Sasuke. Especially since Two Blue Vortex Boruto has been shown to think outside of the box, it's concerning that he would immediately strike instead of confirming that it's okay to do so before doing it. It's almost as if Boruto wanted to get rid of Hidari immediately because of something that he may or may not do in the future concerning Sarada. I don't know, think about it. Just think about it. I could be losing my mind here, but I think that I'm onto something. Sasuke mentions Sarada and Boruto are key to resolving the current conflict. I think the injuring or death of Sarada is an event that must be prevented in the time loop in order to prevent the future and the current day destruction of Konoha and the Shinobi Wave at Kawaki. It's unclear how it's all connected, and maybe it's actually not connected and this video is a waste of time entirely, but something about the way Boruto says, "Was this the only possible outcome?" gets to me every time. It's unclear to me where this time loop would have taken place. It could be from the start of Boruto Two Blue Vortex, from the moment that Boruto steps on Code's face and arrives back in Konoha up until the Kawaki fight in Chapter 1. But we don't know how this is going to turn out. I could be losing my mind, it's fair. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I enjoyed making this crazy ass theory video, and I want to know if any of you are as crazy and on board with me here. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed me rambling, and subscribe to stay updated on my future creations. I appreciate you so much. So until next time.